I'm Andrew Bennett, Eddie Bauer Sport Shop Angler, and we are here in the beautiful Hawaiian Islands, right here in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. We're chasing some bonefish and some other assorted species out in the saltwater and doing a little bit of adventuring as well. When I talk to people who don't know a lot about fishing and I go, hey, I'm going to Hawaii for a few days, you know, we're going to go fly fishing, people kind of go, what? Fly fishing in the ocean? And bonefish are one of the big reasons that people fly fish in warm salt water, and that's because, in general, bonefish feed in water that's pretty shallow. And so even though we're using floating fly lines, we've got maybe a 9 to 11 foot leader and a weighted fly, bonefish swim up really, really close to shore. They often follow the tides in, and in a lot of instances, you're catching bonefish in 6 inches to maybe 3 feet of water. And so you can actually see them first and foremost, so you know where they are and you can make a shot at them with your fly rod. But also, even with the floating line, just the weight of that fly can sink the fly to the bottom where it needs to be able to connect with the bonefish.
Otherwise, you got to keep running it. Doing ankle.
Captain Clay is a really fantastic guy. He's been on this island for 40 years, knows the water incredibly well, really patient, great demeanor, great angler himself.
The thing with bones here, they're very green colored.
Yep.
And what you want to do, they're really spooky, so you need to cast 6 or 8 feet in front of them.
Okay.
And then I usually like to put my rod tip down and then make a big strip, get the kinks out.
Yep.
And then watch the fish as it's coming, do little twitches. Don't be big strips, just little teeny 3-inch, just like that. So so the fly's looking like a shrimp.
Yep.
When it gets on there, make sure you strip set and not trout set.
Yep.
And hang on.
Okay, sounds good. I'm ready. And one of the things that I really appreciated about Clay is that even though he's been out on these waters for so many years, you can tell he's a guy who is constantly really curious. He's not going to claim that he knows it all. And the great guides that I've had the chance to fish with in my life are the people who are always thinking about what more can I learn, what's a new idea that I have, how can I push things further. And Clay is definitely one of those guys who has a huge amount of expertise, but you can tell he's still working really, really hard to learn the fishery and just continue to hone his craft. Having Adrienne along has been awesome. Adrienne's a dear friend of mine, and getting to watch her and sort of experience this for the first time and share these kinds of places and the fishery, the adventure aspect has been awesome. And I also really love the contrast in that the last time we fished together was at the lodge that she works at on the Skeena River, and that's a fishery that she's expert in, and she spent a lot of time helping me out, and to be able to be down here now in a fishery where I've had a fair amount more experience, and to be able to watch her experience that for the first time has been really cool.
The first bonefish that I landed this week was actually my 3rd shot. We headed out sort of mid-morning, our first day of fishing with a guide, and hopped in the boat, and when we got to the spot, we anchored up and started walking this little ridge line on the flat where we had good visibility, and it was shallow enough that we could walk quite easily. And probably within the first 15 minutes, we saw bonefish. I had a shot at it, I made a cast and stripped it in, and it ate. And I'm pretty sure that I trout set. And I lost it very quickly. The best feeling was when I hooked the fish. I did exactly what the guide told me to do as far as setting the hook and letting it run and clearing the line. The power of the first run was just unreal. It took off so fast, and my rod just folded right over, and I just felt like I was hanging on for dear life. And it was my first day of bone fishing, and I was hooked up on a beautiful, beautiful fish, and the moment that I saw it in close was just, I will never forget seeing that fish come up to the surface, and just the shine, the chrome, the green back, and just being able to see one in person for the first time.